What a night, huh? That's some fun shit. I love this. Love it. What a great night.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I was going to start right there, right? I mean, obviously, anytime you give 5 contracts, that's a good indication. But then also, like, 3 big underdogs hit as well. So, overall thoughts? This has to be like one of, I don't know, felt like one of the more exciting nights we've ever had here.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say what night is the most exciting night out of however many seasons we've done it. I think it was last season or the season before, the first episode was brutal. I mean, just fucking terrible. Other than that, I mean, every single fight, every season on this show is off the charts. And it's based on the premise of the show. We don't care what you've done before you came here. What are you going to do tonight? And it's like they always show up and deliver. It's unbelievable.
It's funny because you always talk about how good the matchmaking is, right? And so coming into tonight, we were almost looking at the betting odds, being like, well, was this bad matchmaking? They're these huge, underdogs. So when you see a card like tonight and odds like tonight, do you start thinking, are we in for some lopsided fights, or what's your thoughts when you?
Well, I mean, if you go through, I'll give you an example. If you take the last fight of the night, right? You got this kid Igor who was almost a 5-1 favorite, but I'm not trying to shit on anybody. I don't even know what the IFL is, right? But he's fighting. He's a big fish in a small pond, and you've destroyed everybody. You're undefeated. You're 9-0. You have a 100% first round finish rate, 100% in the first round, right? And 7 wins in under a minute 20 or less. So then you come in here and you get lined up with this crafty Korean dude who has great head movement and awesome counter punching and wants it just as bad, or we saw tonight, worse than you do, And tonight, as I watched that fight play out, I saw Igor start to think, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life. That's what it looked like to me, You didn't prepare right, or, Never did he start trying to get out from underneath. He didn't try to walk up the cage and get up and have the desperation of, I need to finish this fight to win this fight. None of that happened. So you just lay there and let your opportunity go by. Or you come out like some of these underdogs, right? How fucking dare you make me a 13-1 underdog? How dare you make me a 4-1 underdog? And that's how you fight.
Talk about Eunice. I mean, you gave her the contract before she even got out of the cage. You brought her back there first. But, I mean, you're talking about an upset of the year. You're talking about a knockout of the year.
The biggest upset in the history of the Contender Series, you know what I mean? Mick was telling us that he was going through his text chain with her people. She almost didn't come. She has no money. She doesn't have $1 to her name right now. And people were, she gets per diem. What happened to her per diem? Her per diem got messed up and all this stuff. So the staff had to go grocery shopping for her. And then she comes in and does that. I mean, fucking, let me tell you what, she ain't broke now.
Well, it's funny, right? Because you straight up say, like, I don't even know what else you can do. I don't know if you can grapple. I don't know if you can defend a takedown.
I don't know what you can do, but we're going to let you in and try it, whatever you can do. I mean, you don't see women knock women out like that. And the girl she fought was a 13-1 favorite. The girl's this beast, a specimen. She came out and just started letting her hands fly. She knocked her out in a minute 13, but after that first big exchange they had where she was hitting her with the shots, and then there was sort of a lull and they were staring at each other, she already had a hematoma above her eye. And, I mean, damn. It was just, if you can't tell, I got kind of caught up in that whole moment. But the whole place did. I mean, very, very rare that the entire place erupts here for the contender like it did tonight. I mean, that was incredible. That was special, what we saw tonight. That was fun.
I think that stole the show for the whole night for sure. But it was funny because the first fight of the night, you're going into the cage. You don't do that a whole lot, right?
Yeah, well, that was the other thing. Both of those kids were 24 years old. And, my thing was, however the judges score this fight, however this plays out, both of you have a bright future in this sport. Both durable, tough guys, well-rounded, no matter where the fight went. Head kicks, eating nasty head kicks, the body shots that both of those two took, the punches. I mean, when they hit each other with some of those right hands, it sounded like heavyweights. It reminded me of the night that Francis and Stipe fought in here, when Francis and Stipe were hitting each other that night. And you were just like, God damn. right? Those two were throwing those kind of punches at each other. It was a great fight.
So I don't know that we've seen you this excited about a night in a long time. So I guess what's the overall message? Because there's still quite a bit of season left, right? So what would you tell the rest of the competitors that they can do?
If you don't know by now, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like I say, this is your opportunity. After the girls' knockout, we were trending number 2 in the United States, and I don't even have to know, but I know that's going to be top 10 tonight on ESPN's top 10. You know what I mean? Nobody knows you on Tuesday morning. Everybody can know you Wednesday morning. You know what I mean? This is your shot and your opportunity to come in and show me, but show the whole world who you are. And it doesn't matter what the odds are. That's been proven a million times. It's about who you are. Who are you? Show us right here tonight.
Well done. All right, listen, we got a great fight card this weekend. I don't want to look past that, but the Sphere is coming very, very close. I just want to get an update on that. Where do you stand in terms of preparation? And, I mean, that's obviously a huge event. How much is left to do between now and next week?
It's all the work is done. Now it's about rehearse. And there's limited times that we can get. We're getting in there at like 1 till 7 in the morning because of their schedule. But it's all about rehearsing now and to try to explain to you how complex this show is and how many moving pieces and parts there are to pulling this thing off. It's all about all the bells and whistles are done. Now it's about execution.
You know, you made big promises, obviously, what this show is going to be. How confident are you going to be able to deliver on those promises with this being the greatest sporting event of all time?
I'm extremely confident. You know, I've sat in there and I've looked at the stuff already, and so I don't know if I told you guys this last time I talked to you, but we walked into the Sphere, and you know, I ain't gonna lie, you know, there's a lot of pressure on me, and I'm thinking about all these different things that, how's this? Is this right? We sat down, and they made a mistake when they started doing the rehearsal, and they played me like one of the middle pieces of the show. I literally looked at Craig Borsari and said, "Yeah, you know, fuck it. You're gonna have to show me anything else. I can get up and go right now. I'm good." It's badass. It's badass. It's going to be awesome. Just about execution now.
Last thing I have for you, I don't know how long we need to talk about it, but couldn't help but notice a Jon Jones promo that ran tonight.
What?
Yeah, it had a lot of things calling him the GOAT, talking about his accomplishments.
Yeah.
Now, is that something you've been planning for a long time that just happened to roll out this week, or was that a direct response to anything that happened here last week?
I was in the back. I didn't even see it air. I didn't even know they aired that
There was
tonight.
a lot of stats about him, who he's
Really?
beaten. I don't know.
Did you guys read them?
There was a lot of stuff.
Did you guys read the stats?
It didn't talk a lot about the guys recently that he's beat. It talked about his whole career.
Right. Still, well, you recently just beat the number 1 heavyweight in the world. Yeah. Hope you guys read that stat. You know what is fucking great about technology? We're not far away from AI actually doing these rankings, and it'll be a great fucking day when AI starts doing this shit. So I'm really excited about that.
Dana, you're a gambling man. Do you think that the Contender Series, you should probably just not bother with parlays and maybe just look at the fights individually? Because I feel like anytime you run a parlay on this show, it gets ruined by
Well, anytime you have a parlay in any sport. I mean, parlays are dangerous. That's why everybody does them. Everybody does them because the reward is so good you can't help yourself.
Not if you bet on all the favorites tonight. You got like $3 for like a $10 bet. And then the favorites lost anyway.
Well, that's the way it goes, too. If you bet favorites. Anyway, if you do parlays, if you bet favorites, I mean, yeah, if you bet the big favorites and everything, but you can still, like tonight. I mean, same thing. Sports betting is fucking brutal. I don't do it. I stopped doing it a long time ago. It drives me crazy. Yeah, but it's more fun if you bet. No, it's not more fun. It actually makes the game miserable. But yeah, if you like sports betting, this is one that actually where underdogs really do win.
You talk about wanting to see, we speak about guys coming out and showing you what they're about, even if they're the underdog. Do you then look on the flip side, right? You maybe had Igor, perhaps Will. They come out and they seem much more tentative. Do you think that's because the moment's getting to them, or do you think you need to come in here with a different strategy? If that's your usual fighting style, you need to come out here and be aggressive from the opening bell.
Yeah, listen, if you're undefeated 9-0 and have seven finishes in under a minute 20 of the first round and 100% finish rate in the first round, That's exactly how you should fight.
Yeah. Going back to the Sphere, you said it cost $20 million, right? Can you tell me, is it going to be like, let's say you did it again, it's another 20 million, or because you're the first people that are doing this, that's why it's so high? And if you were ever to do it again, you could get those costs down a little bit.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can. I think that, you know, obviously the technology of the Sphere is all new. So you have to shoot in a different format than you normally do. And you know, the thing is with us is we don't cut corners. We don't cut corners. We do everything the right way. So if you think about that, our production value is usually here, right? Compared to even HBO boxing, which, you know, they were the gold standard. But the only thing they did differently in 30 years was HD. It was all the same shit, right? You know, I would take us from here to the ceiling on what we're doing to the Sphere. I told you guys before, I believe that this is a game changer. This is where sports and entertainment truly come together. And I think what you'll start to see is some of these arenas start to change the way they're, you know, a lot of these places are being built right now, new arenas. A lot of them are being refurbished and redone because they're old. I think you'll start to see them start to add better technology to the arenas where you go to the, you know, the Lakers game and you got a guy juggling and, you know, the mascots dunking balls at halftime and stuff like that. I think you'll start to see more entertainment-based stuff happening at halftime.
Is there stuff you guys can take from the Sphere that you can then use?
Oh, we will. We already have. I mean, some of the cameras and some of the technology we're using for this, we will absolutely spill over into the, you know, the events moving forward.
Great. Last one from me. Your partner, Turkey Al Sheikh, said today that he wants to make boxing pay-per-views like $20. He thinks that's a good way to combat piracy. I'm not asking you to change your pay-per-view price, but as someone who knows the numbers, is that a valid way to combat piracy, or do you think you need to focus on punishing after the fact?
Trust me, we know exactly how to combat piracy. You know, I won't tell you extensively what we do every event, but we go after piracy hard. And you saw a few years ago, we started prosecuting people. That's how you combat piracy. Start fucking prosecuting people for stealing. There you go.
Dana, to your right.
Yep.
How many people on the roster now? Like, you've given 13 out of 15 winners contracts this week. It seems like your roster, are you at 700 now?
What's the number, you know? What? Under 700.
Is that a workable number for you to get, you know, or is there going to be some pairing going on at the bottom of the roster?
Yeah, I think that, you know, every time you get into a cycle, there's cuts that you have to make. You have to make a certain amount of cuts at a certain point in time. But the reason we can pull off a lot of the things that we do is because we have such a deep roster. You know, we you know, this year we had Ige come off the couch and basically come from home, watching the pay-per-view at home to come fight. When you have a deep roster, you can do stuff like that. You can pull fights out 4 days, 5 days before, and, you know.
I was thinking tonight when you were doing this, is it about strengthening the bottom of the roster and then seeing where they go, or is it just looking and saying, I want to see guys that can be top 10, top 5, potentially champions? Is there one way that you look at it more than the other?
My goal every day when I go to work is I want to find the absolute best fighters in the world. I want to put on the best production that we can in-house and on live television every Saturday that we possibly can. And to do that, you need shows like the Contender Series, and you need to find these people, bring them in, and give them the opportunity.
When you look at Dubin and what she did tonight, I mean, what do you see in her growth-wise? She fought, I guess, 5 people, all of whom made their pro debut.
Yeah.
And so there's basically nothing really to go on looking at her past performance because she hadn't fought anybody.
Here's what I'm going on. I'm going on the fact that she was a 13-1 dog tonight, the adversity that she had to go through to even get here, the fact that she came out against a girl that she was not supposed to beat, who was an absolute physical Who here thought she was going to win this fight tonight? I mean, raise your hand so I can call you a liar in front of the whole world. She comes out tonight and it doesn't surprise me. And one of the nastiest knockouts. Forget about the Contender Series. You'll see in women's fighting. I mean, and it was with a punch, not a head kick or a knee. She's going to get an opportunity. What she does with it, we will find out, you know. Hopefully she takes all the money that she made tonight and she goes back, she gets into a real training camp and gets with a real team and she tries to go do something with her life.
Did you give her extra bonus tonight? Because
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Also wanted to ask you, did you see Alex Pereira's tweet today or Instagram post today?
I didn't, but Lene told me about it.
Yeah. So what's your take on that? So because I wrote a thing and I basically said if he goes to middleweight, forget about him ever fighting at heavyweight, right? What is your take on his? He seems to have this kind of unusual interest in middleweight for whatever reason. There's a lot of contenders. He hasn't fought Ankalaev yet. I know Ankalaev has a fight, but
I disagree. My take on him is he's fucking nasty. That's my take on him. He wants to move up. He wants to move down. He wants to go That's why people love him. Those are the type of fighters that people love. You know, Pereira wants to fight everybody. I love it.
So what do you do with a guy like that when you have a guy like that? And Dricus, hey, look at the run Dricus is on, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's kicked ass and, 1, 2, and 3. I think he's beat in the rankings and everything. So you promise a fight to Strickland. If Dricus comes out of that, would you grant Alex's wish, assuming he beats Khalil?
I don't know. The thing that's great about it is, first of all, I said a minute ago, it's why everybody loves him and he's great. But it also gives us a ton of options that, as we're in matchmaking, should we do this? Should we do that? Shouldn't we do this? Shouldn't we do that? I don't know. It's a good problem to have with a guy like him.
And,
how about he's on vacation in Australia and accepts the last-minute fight? I mean, just everything about Alex Pereira is what makes fans absolutely love the guy.
He is 37 years old. That's, the one, when you look at the one negative in terms of if he goes down, and the reason I call it a negative is this. If you want to see him try to make history and win a heavyweight title and become the first UFC champion to do it in 3 divisions, you're talking at least another year, right? Mm-hmm. And at that point, he's past 38, heading to 39. Time becomes an issue there. So do you ever have a conversation with him and sit down and try to, kind of map out a little bit, say, because that would be so unusual, Dana, to win a title in 3 weight classes.
Right.
And he's a big man, and you put on 10 or 15 pounds of muscle, and he's 245 just like Jones.
Yeah. No, listen, all these guys are battling time. They all battle time. We're just going to have to see, what happens over the next couple of months. There's a lot of fights happening in these weight classes. And, first Stipe and Jones needs to happen, and then we figure out where we go there. Aspinall is obviously the next guy that should get the next title shot. And we'll see how this all plays out. But they're all battling time, every one of them. Good?
One from me.
Yep.
Last week, we were talking about working together with Riyadh Season in the US, but you kind of didn't want to share the sort of things you might be working on. Can I have one guess? And if I'm close, you say yes.
No, but go ahead.
Is it anything to do with TKO boxing? Because Turki Al-Alashik wants to create a league, which I've heard he wants to implement in early 2025.
Do I think that what? I need help, Lene.
Part of TKO.
Turki Al-Alashik wants to create a league in
right.
boxing that he wants to apparently launch early 2025. Is that something TKO boxing could help with?
Huh. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Who knows? Have a great night.
Dennis.